Round 2 takes us out west to Arizona, where one driver will park in victory lane at Phoenix Raceway. This is after last week's wild ride at the Daytona 250. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eliza Bethel, and Pete is somewhere around here having technical difficulties, but we do have 2 driver spotlights tonight I'm super excited about. Our first up is going to be a veteran driver of the number 13 Bass Pro Shop Chevy for Dart Motorsports. He joined us in Season 2. His name is Joseph Turley. And we also have veteran driver since Season 1 for FIWB piloting the number 48, Francis Hamilton. Welcome, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Just glad to be here.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Awesome to hear. All right, so I'm going to get you guys back out of here, but I've got some questions for you tonight. So we'll start with Joseph Turley. Use one word to describe Phoenix.
Wild.
I would agree with that, absolutely. Francis, what about you?
Loose.
Loose, yeah. Where do you find it loose at mostly?
The exit of both corners is going to be very sketch.
Okay. I see that, and I see a couple of drivers already dying off the corner, so I think they would agree with you. All right, question 2. What is your favorite thing to do outside of racing? And we're going to start with Francis for this one.
Just like anything, right?
Yeah, anything.
Watch baseball.
All right, fair enough. I can tell that from your car. What about you, Joseph?
Honestly, I will love to eat and sleep. I like to cook and do all that kind of stuff. So,
Oh, nice. What's your favorite meal that you've cooked?
I enjoy doing like steak and pasta, stuff like that.
You can't go wrong with that. That's always like a good meal to have for sure. All right, question 3. Looking back on previous races that you've competed in, what is one race you won't soon forget? And we're going to start with Joseph Turley.
I definitely look back Michigan last season towards the tail end of the year. Finally felt like I had a good run going, and then just got caught up in a late wreck, and it was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, those are definitely heartbreakers. I hate it for you guys when I see that happen. Like you're doing so well and then just get taken out. I absolutely hate it for you guys. Fair enough. Francis, what about you? What is one race that is memorable for you?
I'm also going to say Michigan just because, I basically had it won on fresher tires, and that was going to put me in the Final Four, and then a caution came out right as we were about to take the white flag, and yeah, I'm still not over it, but...
It was a tough one. I do remember that, but yeah. Hopefully this year we won't have anything like that, but it's racing. We all know what's going to happen, so...
Yeah.
All right, our next question. Have you attended a NASCAR race in real life? And if so, which was your first race that you attended? And we'll start with Francis.
My first race was also Michigan.
Oh, funny.
Home tracks, yeah.
Nice. Do you remember what year?
Probably 2016, I would say. I think.
All right. Nice. Who was your favorite driver? I have to ask. I would say the 48, right?
Yeah, Bowman.
Fair enough. All right, Joseph, what about you?
My first race was actually like 2 summers ago. We went to the Atlanta summer night race. It was like a Sunday night race. We went to that race, skipped the 3 wide finish race, and then went to the playoff race in Atlanta. So we like bookended the best of the 3 races, but it was a blast to be there and just see those cars in person.
I mean, the atmosphere is just absolutely insane. And I swear, every time I hear those cars, goosebumps all the way. It's just insane. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. That's awesome. All right, final question for you guys. What's the biggest challenge you face in the Gen 6 cars? And we're going to start with Joseph.
Just the unfamiliarity. I think this is going to be the 3rd race I've run in these cars, including the duel in Daytona. Maybe I've raced one more before. But they just drive not necessarily way different than the next gens, but it's just a completely different feel in these carts. It's all about momentum, just like the next gens, but it's just something to figure out with these things.
For sure. Absolutely. What about you, Francis? What's the biggest challenge?
I'd say just like the saving tire part of it, just because, you know, we did Xfinity, it's all about saving the right front. Here you save the right front, but you also burn the right rear, and then you get into a trap where you're loose off, but you're also so tight in the center. It's really, really difficult to manage that.
I agree. It's a totally different beast out here. You have higher horsepower, and it just takes a lot to get used to. But that's it for our driver spotlight tonight. I appreciate you guys coming out here and letting me give you some questions, but it's always fun getting to know everybody, and I wish you a ton of luck out there tonight.
Thanks for having us.
All right, I'm going to place you guys back in your team chat. Francis to EFA, WB, and Joseph Turley to Dart Motorsports. So these guys are always so much fun, and Pete is still MIA. Poor guy. He said he could not hear anything, but we still have a little bit of time. 4 minutes left in practice here. I see you guys out in chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. We do have team championship this year too, so that is something that we're gonna have to take a look at. But let's take a look at who our top guys are on speed. We have Justin Anasagak out here in first on practice speed, 26:10. Brennan Book in second, 26:20. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in third. These guys, you can see a lot of spins out here, and already some guys celebrating in victory lane. How about that? Don't celebrate too soon. You don't want to jinx yourself. Joseph Turley, who we interviewed just a minute ago for Dart Motorsports out there. But yeah, 3 minutes left in practice. We have Jai Baxter in that 54 machine. He is a rookie in SnB, definitely not a rookie in racing though. A 26:25 for him. Micah Walls in that 47. He's going to be P5 with a 26:26. Francis Hamilton in 6, and we talk about this all the time, but Francis, just the improvement that I've seen with him is just incredible. So I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do this season. I think we're going to see him in victory lane. We have Tom Flitcroft in 7th with another 26:26. John Honeycutt, 26:27. Brody Folliker in 9th. And Duncan Fall running out your top 10. I see you guys out there. 2025 Daytona 500 winner. Crazy. I know that race last week for the 250 was absolutely insane. A lot of fun. But man, it had a few more cautions than what I was expecting. We'll see what happens tonight. Phoenix, if you guys recall our last Phoenix race, it did not go well. It was very caution-y. So hopefully tonight is a cleaner race for these drivers for sure. As far as what we can expect, let's go to track analysis for Phoenix. The race length is going to be 156 laps. There are no fast repairs. This will not change. And Francis, go get that win. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. No fast repairs. The stages, 2 stages. Our first and, the end of stage 1 is going to be lap 47. And the remainder of the race, 109 laps. So there is going to have to be some tire saving, a little bit of strategy involved there. We will see, hopefully, a green flag stop. We'll see what they can do. Like I said, I'm hoping for a very clean race. We are going to have 4 tire sets tonight. I think that'll be plenty for these drivers, but they will have to, like I said, take care of those tires, make sure that their car is clean. We'll see what they can do. All right, Chad, let me know. What do you feel like is going to be happening tonight? Who is going to win? And I see Repeat has joined the booth. Repeat, you got a copy. Oh, I don't think he can still hear us. That's the problem. I can hear him. He can't hear me.
Can you hear me?
You can hear me, Pete?
Hey, how about that?
Let's go.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, well, I reset my computer like 3 or 4 times, went into the mixer channels and did all that, made sure it was where it's supposed to be, and then turned my computer off one more time. And when I bring it back on, it says, "Well, let's continue setting up your computer, shall we?" It's like, what?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got something going on, but no,
Man.
it is. It's finally back, so we are good to go. I'm pulling up everything now, and I definitely want to apologize to everybody that was out there last week. We are definitely not at Atlanta, as Honeycutt very nicely made it known that I goofed up last week. But no, I was thinking about a different schedule that kicks off next Sunday night. But yeah, here we are, Phoenix, race number 2 of season number 5, ready to roll. How are you?
I'm doing good. These guys are already going over to qualifying here. And we do have 41 drivers out here. So that does mean that one person will go home tonight. They will have to qualify their way in. So we'll see who it's going to be. But I see a couple of new faces that I haven't seen in a while. Jacob Kerr is out there. We'll see what he does. But let's take a look. Brody Folliker in that 42 machine. Last season's champion.
Yeah, Brody Folliker, bad fast. Last season he said he wasn't too sure about the Xfinity cars. Here we are now in the Gen 6 Cup car, and started off pretty racy last week at Daytona. Jimmy Cocker went ahead and got the W with his retro throwback scheme to season 1, where he won Daytona with, like you've mentioned a couple times. But here we are, bad fast dog leg. In real season racing, we're seeing 3, 4, and 5 wide coming through there on these starts. What do you anticipate?
Oh, man, we already got Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He's on pole so far. I mean, knock on wood. We still got plenty of time left, but he's got a 26:30 out there. Extremely fast, and it's no surprise. He's always super fast, no matter what car you put him in. Michael Walls, 26:31 in second. Francis Hamilton out there for FIWB. Always fast lately. It's just absolutely insane. 26:35. We talked to him earlier tonight. Andrew Sanford in fourth, number 37. He's got a 26:38. Brody Folliker moves up to third, Pete. So we're going to have a lot of movement out here.
Yeah, I think it was who was it last week? They said they expected a bit out of Jurgensmeyer this season. Well, here he is in that 00, old buckshot numbers, if you will. Right now on that possible pole. Still a few guys yet to go. If we got 41 cars out there, as it looks like number 27 has just hit the track.
Take a look at that 27. See if we can't get him out here.
That was at the point Mark Santucci, but it looks like a couple more have pulled on out.
Yeah, Steven Maggio, he takes over the lead here with a 26:25. So, he beat Jurgensmeyer by a few tenths there. Jonathan Hernandez, he has got a 26:36, sitting 7th. Brian Pizzakimi, he's going to be in 8th. Jimmy Cocker out there, currently sitting P10. Tom Flitcroft in 13th. John Honeycutt in 17th. Jacob Kerr, first time I've seen him out here in a while, so great to have him. He's sitting currently 16th. So Jose Ruiz, 21st. Forrest Smith, 29th. I don't know if he's finished his qualifying, but we have a few that have yet to qualify.
Yeah, Josh Taylor that missed Daytona last week. Right now he sits P18. Luke Allen right behind him in that number 7, 19th. Tom Harmon welcoming him back in that number 68, 20th rather. Jose Ruiz, Team FTR driver. Got a chance to watch him the other night at the New Hampshire road course. Did pretty well there. I think he ended up P6. Again, Joe Bird, Matt Opplinger, PJ O'Leary, Philip Bridgman, Matt Gale, Jarrett Cardwell, Austin Mitty, and Jordan McGraw right now to round out the top 30, and they're still qualifying.
They are still qualifying. Brennan Book up there in the top 3 with a 26:27. So a couple of guys beat out that 26:30. We have a 25, 26, and 27. So a lot of close times out here. Now, I think, I talked about it earlier. Dogleg was a little bit of an issue. We have a lot of looseness coming out of these exits. I know when I raced it, I struggled coming out of exit 2. So I think we're going to see some spins out here, and it's going to you're going to have to pay attention to where the driver is next to you, in front of you, and behind you going through that dog leg. We might have a couple of collisions out there, Pete. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. I remember, was it last season or maybe the season before that? Just the track transition itself, going through the dog leg, not even cutting it, not even cutting down to the apron, just that little bit of a dip that's there itself, caused a lot of the guys last season to have some really big issues. If you didn't take that curve straight, uh, I remember watching some cars get bad, fast, loose, and brought out a few cautions.
Absolutely. Do have to make sure about the banking also in that dog leg. Do not straddle that. It will get you loose for sure. So just a few things that these drivers have to look at. But Steven Maggio is going to be out there on pole. So a great job to him as we go to warm up out here. We'll see what they can do in practice, get these guys going. A few drivers are sick. I know Thomas Harmon, he was not feeling good out here. We'll see how he manages to get through the race. But yeah, I cannot imagine having the flu and trying to race out here.
I don't know. I've seen some guys that said, I really don't feel well and all that. I don't know if it's just that extra layer of paying attention to the race and the way your car feels and all that. People do really, really well, even close to grabbing the W for themselves when they don't feel well. It's just something about it. But I've seen people that didn't feel well do very, very well.
You're not wrong, Pete. I mean, it does. Racing, it takes your mind off of it. This is something that we all love to do. So I think racing is a great way to pass the time when you're not feeling good, if you're up for it at least. We'll see what they do, but take a look. Micah going way down low, almost right next to the car coming out of pit lane. This is just warm up, so nothing to be concerned about here, but that dog leg, some of these guys will cut that extremely low. It will save you some time, but tire wear, you're going to have to be prepared for those tires to go downhill.
Oh, absolutely. Long sweeping corners. I mean, turns 1 and 2 kind of remind me a little bit of a Milwaukee Mile kind of a race. Turns 3 and 4, maybe a little bit of Richmond, but that dog leg is very, very unique to this track. You definitely have to be very comfortable at getting on the brake, getting on the throttle, watching your competition, being mindful of where you're at. Meanwhile, watching the wall, trying to do everything that you possibly can to put a great race together. Phoenix is Pocono's got the whole tricky triangle down, but Phoenix is no slouch itself. It can be very tricky at times also.
Oh, absolutely. And I know next week we have the Auto Club, a lot of drivers really looking forward to that for sure. But it looks like we only have 11 drivers out here practicing, so a bit of a break for some of these other drivers. Get situated before this long race here. 156 laps, 2 stages. So 47 laps will be the final part of stage 1, and then we're going to head on over to stage 2. These guys will not have a caution, but the top 10 drivers will receive bonus points for finishing in the top 10.
Yeah, right now, Michael Wall's on top. Frank Hamilton, Micah Allard. Great to see him this evening. Jose Ruiz and Jimmy Cocker are the top 5 in this 5-minute practice. Just over 2 minutes to go. And it seems like a few more have decided they're going to go on out. Got up to about 14 drivers out there. John Honeycutt and Tom Harmon, Mark Santucci, Joe Turley, just to name a few. There's Jose Ruiz.
John Honeycutt out there, Thomas Harmon, Luke Allen. We had him on a couple of races ago. Duncan Fall, a newer driver in SnB for this season. Definitely a rookie here, but not a rookie on iRacing. So far, I can tell he is going to have some phenomenal speed, and I will not be surprised if we see him grab a win.
No, there's going to be a lot of. This car We've never run it before, just like the Xfinity car last season. So I think everybody here is up for the challenge. There is a great core set of drivers here in the Shake and Bake iRacing Gen 6 series now for season number 5. I think they're all up for the challenge. I think we're going to see great racing week to week, and I cannot wait to see how it all plays out.
Back to Duncan Fall. He's third on the speed charts for warm-up at least. Jimmy Cocker in fourth. Micah Allard, he's in the top 5 out here. Jose Ruiz in 6th. PJ O'Leary, he is out here hopefully full-time. I know last year he raced part-time. We'll see. Brody Folliker in 9th. We have Luke Allen in 11th. Thomas Harmon 12th. Philip Bridgman in that 24 machine in 15th. And we're going to have John Honeycutt in 18th. Dylan C. Robb in 19th. And warm-up is on its way out. We're getting ready to start 156 laps here at Phoenix Raceway, Pete.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was actually Dylan Robb who was talking about Jerky Fire last week as we were going through that roster. Well, yeah, we got less than what time? Actually, no, time is up. We're about to pull up that grid, go through the field, and see where everybody's going to hit that green flag.
Absolutely. Let's wait for this grid to pop up here. Steven Maggio, he is your pole sitter for tonight. A 26.254. To his outside is going to be Justin Anasagak in that 09 machine. In row 2, we're going to have Brendan Book in that 5 car alongside Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. In row 3, we're going to have Micah Walls in the 47 with Matt Burgess to his outside. Row 4 is going to be Brody Folliker in that 42 machine with Francis Hamilton in the 48. And in row 5 is going to be Jonathan Hernandez in that 1 machine with Brian Pizzikimi, who actually qualified this time. He's in the 78.
Yeah, behind them is going to be P number 11, Andrew Sanford, in that number 37, with last week Daytona's winner in that number 11 is going to be the one and only Jimmy Cocker, P12. P13 looks like it's going to be Jai Baxter in the 54 with Matt Sisler in the 45. Row 8 is going to be Tom Flicroft in that number 8 with Justin Rott in the 76, P16. P17, Zach Deutscher in that double deuce with Jacob Kerr in the 18 to his outside. 19th, John Honeycutt in that Team FTR number 50 to his outside is going to be his Team FTR teammate in that number 23, Jose Ruiz.
Josh Taylor in that 2 machine sitting 21st with Micah Allard in 22nd in that 61 car. Luke Allen in that 7 car sitting 23rd with Thomas Harmon in the 68 sitting 24th. 25th is Joe Berg with Matthew Opliger in 26th. 27th, PJ O'Leary with 28th, Philip Bridgman. 29th, Matthew Gale with 30th, Jarrett Cardwell. 31st, Austin Mitty with Jordan McGraw in 32nd. Mike Campbell Jr. in 33 with Forrest Smith in 34. And 35th is going to be Joseph Turley with Dylan C. Robb in 36. And I do believe we're getting ready to start to go here. 37th, Mark Santucci, Jeremy Kramer, Duncan Fall, Jamie Wright, and Rob Newman. And we're already green.
Yeah, can't do much with a 1 mile track. But yeah, we are off in the desert. Green flags out, all kinds of action through the dogleg. Bringing it all back up on track for turns 3 and 4. We're already 1 lap in. Let's go.
3 wide for 3rd place. It's going to be Micah Walls, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and they start to go 2 wide all the way through. These guys are all over each other. What a wild race, and we almost had 4 wide towards midsection here, but these guys still off and running through the dogleg peak.
Cue the duck. It's the Aflac. Looks like a 47 machine right behind the 51. Now 47. Actually, these guys are all over the place. Excuse me. The 47, although it says a different number on the machine. I'm showing Michael Walls in the lead, and he's got the rest of the field right behind.
Steven Maggio is the one actually in the lead. He's got Justin Anasagak in 2nd, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer side by side for 3rd with Micah Walls, and then Brody Folliker is going to be 5th. These guys are absolutely on top of each other. Remember, turn 2, extremely loose loose on exit, and some are saying even off of 4. They changed the configuration of how this goes, so if you hear me say the wrong turn, do not be surprised. I know it happened a while ago, but man, it still confuses me, Pete.
All right, this overlay system finally caught up with me. You were talking about it last week. Well, I guess I finally got bit by it. But yeah, Stephen Maggio, Justin Anscott, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Michael Walls, and Brody Falliker. Brendan Book back there in that number 5 machine with Jonathan Hernandez in that number 1 Chevrolet sitting P7. Francis Hamilton, he started in P8 right now. That's right where he is, still in that number 48. But right behind him, looks like it's going to be a little bit of a gap, between Hernandez and Hamilton. Andrew Sanford and Matt Burgess to make up the top 10. But Eliza, looks like the top 6, top 7 starting to scoot away a little bit.
Yeah, they're definitely putting a gap over that second pack led by Francis Hamilton, as you said. But Stephen Maggio still out in the lead, and we've seen him lead several races. Unfortunately, later in the race, we've seen something happen to Stephen. So I'm hoping today that it will be his day to have a clean race, and we'll see him out here in the booth afterwards. But take a look, Justin Anisagak. He was so close to a championship last season, led for a while, but Pete, we have our first caution. Looks like Matt Sisler perhaps was involved.
Yeah, Matt Sisler, I'm seeing Jimmy Cocker, Matt Burgess, John Honeycutt possibly, as well as Josh Taylor, a few possibly involved in this one.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of people involved. Let's see if we can go back and take a look here. Looks like a driver perhaps hit the wall. I'm going to go back here on Jimmy Cocker. Not sure exactly what happened, but let's get another replay on that.
Maybe tagged the wall and slowed it up a little bit. Jimmy Cocker had nowhere to go. More smoke in that brand new paint scheme also getting involved. So, yeah, when that wall grabs you and slows you down and the person behind you has no time to check up, that's the melee.
Let's go on board once more. Try to get some of these guys. There we go. Try to do this one more time. Get a view from Jimmy Cocker. Yeah, it looks like they just snagged the rear end of him and headed into the wall. Man, tough break. You can just see how many drivers involved, and it's through the one of the most narrow parts of Phoenix here. So not much you can do as you were just going full speed into these corners.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, these corners are not very forgiving on exit. They come up very fast and they're very straight. So you got it. While you got to carry a whole lot of speed up and off the corner, you still got to be able to make sure you can keep your car off it.
David, I see you out there. He says it looks like the 57 might have been turned, and you are absolutely correct. Just a little snag of that rear bumper, but we do have a lot of drivers out on pit lane. 17th, Jacob Kerr, he is in pit lane. Matt Burgess, Jimmy Cocker, Matt Sisler. Josh Taylor looks like he might be out. I don't know. We'll have to see here, but really unfortunate to see. A great start, though, before that.
Yeah, I was watching, unfortunately, panels flying off of that that machine for Josh Taylor. I absolutely love that paint scheme. He wanted a Miller Genuine Draft scheme, kind of a little bit of a throwback to Rusty Wallace. Well, Mike Pop Bear Campbell hooked him up, and everything where it said MGD was switched over to a more smoke and his Twitch channel and all that. Very unfortunate for him. Nice looking ride.
Absolutely. We're going to see Stephen Maggio leading the field back to green once again. He's got the 09 to his outside. These guys coming around the corner, getting ready to go back. But I think we're going to see these guys pretty well on top of each other. We head back to green.
Back to green, 51 hard on the throttle. Looks like the 09 of Justin Anscott was not able to keep it right there as all the inside line dives on down through the apron, making their way back up. Looks like we're going into turns 1 and 2. Okay, and just as I say that, caution number 2 is going to fly.
Micah involved in that. Man, oh man. Spoke too soon. Yeah, he just loses it right there. Let's see if Micah had some help. go back and try to get a replay on his point of view here.
Ooh.
Oh, made hard contact with the 4 machine, so absolutely that got him turned right there. You know, when we talked about taking the dog leg and perhaps a different part of the dog leg, some go high, some go low, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The 4 was not where the 61 was expecting. This is the tough part about Phoenix. You got to make sure you know where every driver around you is.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, if you go down on that dog leg, way down on the apron, and there's a car still there on track, and you come up, you're kind of, if I'm not mistaken, you're the one that's actually got to check up because they're still the ones on the track. If they choose not to let you up, or if they don't hear their spotter, say down low or something like that, it's that's just a tough deal all the way around.
2 cautions just within the first 12 laps. We got to go all the way to 47 to get to the end of stage 1. Man, hopefully these guys get things situated out. I mean, it is a difficult track. We did not race it for a couple of seasons just due to the difficulties that these guys had, especially with the dog leg involved. But we figured we'd bring it back out. They said, let's have it. Here we go.
I wonder if that 51 for Steven Maggio is kind of a nod to Carl Edwards actually being inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. That's actually pretty cool, right along with Ricky Rudd and one other. So that's a nice looking car, and congratulations to the one and only Carl Edwards.
Absolutely. Such a great driver. It was always good to see him out there. Just it was so suddenly how he just quit racing. So just tough to see with some of these drivers. It's tough on your mind, your body, everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at Casey Kane. You know, he came back for Daytona he's going to be back for Daytona this week in Richard Childress number 33, if I'm not mistaken. And when he left, it was due to chronic dehydration. Just couldn't keep the fluids in. These cars are bad hot. And when you're getting close to passing out every single race, you got to do what's right for you, your body, and your family.
Absolutely. I mean, I just did a couple of laps in a stock car, and I'll tell you what, it does heat up. You put that fire suit on, and you are absolutely baking. All right, these guys getting ready to go back to green, hopefully for more than a few laps here. We do have a driver that keeps Zach Deutscher leaping in and out here. We'll see if we can't get it under control for that. But 51 once again, still in the lead. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer too is outside. Brody Folliker directly behind. These guys coming around the corner based on the 51, and he's got a nice start. The 00 taking it out wide. The 42 going to the inside here. We're off. Can we keep it? No, the 4 is around once again. What is happening, Pete?
Oh, that's not good. I don't know if it's too late to implement a rule. Don't go below the yellow line on the first lap. But oh man, tough sledding for that 4 in the back.
Yeah, let's see if we can't see exactly what happened. But the 4, I do believe he's been involved in a couple of instances so far. He just gets sandwiched. 71 is actually just comes up the track. I'm not sure what happened to Mike Papa Bear Campbell, but he came up and the 4 just had nowhere to go.
Oh, it looks like actually Mike Papa Bear Campbell got turned into the 4, got hooked on the right rear and just sent him up.
That's twice that's happened now. That was by the 50 car of John Honeycutt. Just hooked the 71. 71 went up the track, hooked the 4, and man, absolute domino effect. But tonight looks to be a long one if they do not figure it out and figure it out soon.
I might be able to whittle on down to 30 cars by attrition and get some long green flag racing in. I mean, of course, I want to see everybody out there participate. Points are at a premium all season long. Stage points, wins, laps led, all that. I'm in for. I want to see some great racing. I know you do too.
I think we all do, for sure. I appreciate you guys all tuning in tonight. Hopefully we can put on a good show. I know it's been a little chaotic so far. It is Phoenix. Normally they end it at Phoenix for the season. This season, we're going to be ending it at Atlanta Legacy. So it'll be a fun one. It'll be a little bumpy out there, but man, Atlanta is a fun track.
Maybe that was it. Last week I was just saying, let's just get the season over with. I don't know. I just went right from Daytona to Atlanta. Man, maybe that
from the
was
start
it.
to the finish.
Who needs races in the middle? There we go.
Brady Fowler going to take over that second spot. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer going to move back to third. Michael Walls going to be in fourth. Justin Anasigak in fifth. Francis Hamilton out here in the top 10, sitting seventh. Brendan Book, eighth. Brian Pizzakemi, ninth, who usually does not qualify. And Andrew Sanford is going to round out your top 10 as we get ready to go back to green. You see the truck in, and these guys will be going back.
Absolutely. 51 is going to be the first one on that loud pedal. Looks like it's going to be, as you just said, Brody Fowler to his outside. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Michael Walls, and John Hernandez going to be the top 5. Got some people pulling down close to the wall way in the back. But we are going to go back green one more time. Long time this time. And let's get on that loud pedal. Let's go.
Here we go. We're on board with Dylan C. Robb. He's sitting in 20th. See how many cars are out in front of him as he takes down the dog leg. Taking it into turn 1 here. This is extremely loose, and you can see we've got a car leaping out up ahead. This is where it gets super loose out of 2. And these guys 3 wide up ahead, Pete.
Yeah, 3 wide up ahead. I mean, this is the proverbial hornet's nest. Right now, double wide for about P number 4 up top. But yeah, you look ahead from Dylan Robb, and he's just really got to mind his P's and Q's, have a great race, and I think he's all set for doing just that.
3 wide in the back. You see a couple of cars going way down low. The 25 of PJ O'Leary almost going 3 wide. He's probably getting a little help from his teammate Thomas Harmon behind him saying, you are clear to come on up. But these guys 2 and 3 wide all the way throughout this track. Absolutely wild, but you can see on the track map, this line is long, Pete.
Yeah, very long line of cars. Right now about P23 with Philip Bridgman. He's got nothing but traffic all the way around him. He's got John Honeycutt to his inside. He's got the 27 and the 8 of Tom Flitcroft just ahead. 34 of Jordan McGraw right behind him as well.
Still going 2 and 3 wide. The dog leg is very famous for drivers just fanning out wherever they can. However they can make up a spot, they're going to do it, and this is a prime example of it. You can see in the back of the pack, they are single file. That's going to start with that 57 of Matt Burgess. He's got his teammate Thomas Harmon. Thomas gives him a little bit of a nudge. Doesn't take the spot, but Joseph Turley, he is making his way through, and it looks like Thomas Harmon still out there, out front now in that pack.
Yeah, Tom Harmon, we're both used to him and Brian Pizzakemi, who decided to get back behind the wheel, be very, very fast and up front every single race. And right now, it's getting very single-filed out all the way back to the double deuce of Zach Deuscher. And even a couple of spots behind him, might be getting into the, it's going to be a long race. Let's get settled in. Had a couple cautions. Let's worry about our tires. And if they're going to press, you know what? You go ahead and get on by. I'll see you later.
On board with Stephen Maggio, you can see he is our leader, and we're looking out behind him. Single file line, so hopefully things will calm down and we can get to that lap 47, which is the end of stage 1. And those bonus points will go out. Jimmy Cocker winning last week at the Daytona 250. That does punch his ticket into the chase.
Yeah, Jimmy Cocker, he's the guy that shows up to race every single week. All of Team FIWB, irregardless of the group of teams that they've all got created. I think there is actually a Toyota, a Chevrolet, and a Ford, unless they've done something different this week. But FIWB, they're a very strong community of drivers, and they push each other to get better every single week.
Jimmy Cocker, he is out here 37th, not what he wants to see. Luckily, he already is in the chase. But man, a tough start for him as he has lost 25 spots being involved in an earlier incident. We have Mike Papa Bear Campbell out here in 35th. And let's go through the field here. We got Matthew Gale up 10 spots, sitting P19. A lot of drivers around him. There's quite a bit of braking here. The 50 going right into the back bumper of the 67. We'll see what Matthew Gale does with that. He's going to take it down pretty low, trying to gain some momentum heading into the next corner.
Yeah, Matt Gale right now, as you said, sitting P19. Jarrett Cardwell in front and John Honeycutt right behind. Tom Flickroff mentioned him just a moment ago. Duncan Fall, we were talking about during the first part of the race and also in qualifying, right now finds himself 17th, up 22 spots. And it looks like if you go throughout the roster, right now he would be the biggest mover.
Wide for these drivers, but the 93 decides to back out of it. He does not want to be involved in any shenanigans. So he takes the spot and gives it to Duncan, and he is going to be down low. These drivers heading into the corner, you got different braking zones, and when you dive it down low, you do get some nice speed, but man, you have to make sure you clear those drivers, and you got to get a great angle heading into that corner. If not, you're going to be flinging yourself up that track.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why a lot of people will decide to use a dogleg, because of that bit of banking that's right there. You might be able to get a little bit of extra run, plus you're shortening up the track just a little bit. And you know, some people, they come on up a little early. Some people decide they're going to go ahead and ride the wall. But right now, yeah, that 93 of Joe Berg up 6 spots. 19th, Matt Gale, who was also up a few more earlier, right now sitting 18th. Jared Cardwell, Luke Allen is in 15th. But how about Forrest Smith in that number 15 Chevrolet right now, up 20 spots as well? Good run for him so far.
Yeah, he's leading the second pack, and you just can see him all over that wheel trying to keep it under control, sitting 14th. He's leading this pack, trying to catch those that are in that first pack. He's side by side currently. We'll see how this is going. He's got that 27 down low. That is Duncan Fall. He's got Luke Allen and right behind, and Jarrett Cardwell behind. So this is quite a huge pack for the second group.
Yeah, 15 actually able to complete the pass on the outside of the 27. So that tells me that 27's car may not be handling the way that he'd like. And matter of fact, it looks like Luke Allen, he's said, you know what, I just saw what you did. I'm going to try that as well. He pulls up to the outside. He's going to try to get on by the 27 also.
Yeah, you can always get some nice momentum on that outside. There is some grip, but it's not a line that you want to take consistently. It will wear out those tires, so you want to try to take it easy. It seems like we're going to get a longer green flag run. Knock on wood. So these guys are going to want to watch those tires.
Yeah, this track is extremely, extremely abrasive. So you want to try to get down, but at the same time, realize that this is where the right balance of brakes and throttle comes in, because you've got to slow down to make the entrance of these corners, plus carry a decent amount of speed off. Meanwhile,
15 around.
Yellow
Looks
comes
like
out,
caution's gonna
self-spin.
fly, but Eliza, no contact for Smith's car.
Yeah, he got lucky on that. A little bit of gap between him and the drivers behind him that were side by side. So lucky break. Unfortunately, he's going to lose quite a few spots for that, but no damage for anyone out there, which is always good news. Steven Maggio, though, consistent out here. Still in the lead. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in second. Micah Walls in third. Brody Folliker in fourth. And Jonathan Hernandez, he's in fifth.
Yep, Justin Anscock right now sitting P6 in that 09. Brendan Book in the 5, down four spots in P7. Francis Hamilton still started 8th. Gonna ride in the 8th position as they all come on down pit road. Brian Pizzakemi 9th, and Jai Baxter in that P10 spot.
Like pretty much everyone is going to be coming down, taking those tires, getting that fuel in the car, doing all that they can to make it into this last part of stage 1. It is going to be a little crazy. I would not be surprised. You guys have seen it, how aggressive these guys get on restarts. I won't be surprised, Pete, if we see another caution before the end of the stage. I mean, people get aggressive trying to get those top 10 points. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. When you get all racked and stacked back up and you're on 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, you're feeling pretty good, feeling a little bit like Superman because it's cornering the way that you want it to. You're able to carry a little bit of extra speed. You get a false sense of security. And if you're not listening to your spotter and running your line, you got somebody you're inside or outside, like we saw earlier, we could absolutely end up with another problem. But I think these guys are starting to get that settled in groove. The only reason we're under caution right now, I think the 15 might have got a little loose or maybe got a little too much throttle up and off the corner. But as you said, luckily for him, no contact with either another driver or the inside wall.
You know, we still do have the rule where if you cause a caution, you will be penalized and receive an EOL. We did have 2 drivers that received an EOL at the start of this race. So that is something that drivers will have to look out for. If you cause a caution, you will be penalized.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Yeah, iRacing, once the caution comes out, it does just like NASCAR where it freezes the field. And if you're in 5th place and you cause a caution and you got a decent gap back to the next guy, if we're not at a track like this, that you shouldn't keep your P5 spot after you. Now you go on down pit road and grab tires and come on back out and you're right where you were. So no, the penalty is a great thing. And we are all again racked and stacked back up. Truck is on pit road, side by side one more time. It looks like Steve Maggio, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Michael Walls, Brody Falker, and Jonathan Hernandez. So the top 5 that brought us on the pit road are the top 5 leading the race right now. Eliza, let's go back green.
Going back green, and Steven Maggio leading the field out here. Another great start for him. You see Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in that 00. He is back there just a little bit, almost too wide for P2 with the 47. These guys are all over each other, and we do have another caution. A driver into the wall. You can see him back there gathering a few drivers.
Yeah, it looked like the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi might have lost it. Got all kinds of slideways and just nowhere for, I wasn't quite sure who it was that got into him off of that. But yeah, 78 is going to more than likely have to take it a little easy on the first turn.
76 behind him, just nowhere to go. I'm not sure if there might have been contact between the two, but it didn't look like it. Man, some of these drivers just come into a complete halt directly behind him. Then Dylan C. Robb and another. Very tough to see, but Brian Pizzakemi, he had a great start to the race. Normally stays in the back, does not qualify, but tough start here.
Yeah, kind of looking at that replay, Eliza, I don't know if that 78 didn't get just a little bit of help getting into the corner. Like maybe they had different braking zones, or the 78 was going deeper, or the car behind the 78 was going to go deeper into the corner than Pizzakemi was, but very unfortunate.
17, 18, 20 drivers or so stay out. Steven Maggio still leading. They did just go in, get tires, get fuel, so these guys decide to stay out, keep their positions, which here I would imagine is definitely king. You want to stay out front. You want to stay away from the chaos, away from the 2, 3, and 4 wide. It is everything here. Steven Maggio, he does not want to give that up, along with any others in the top 10.
No, not at all. I mean, clean air is king. You ain't got to worry about somebody underneath you or outside or whatever, unless you happen to push it in the beginning and you get caught and, someone attempts to pass you later on. But so far, Maggio in that Aflac machine looks pretty hooked up. We'll have to see what the 47 of Michael Walls or Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is able to do with him in this next run coming up. Working lap 40, coming to lap 41 of 156. Eliza, we still have more than a century of laps to go. Lights atop the pace truck are still on. So looks like we'll go back green maybe after this lap.
After this lap, David says, are we getting a bit too aggressive on these restarts? I do believe maybe a bit too aggressive, and it is just loose conditions. I mean, these guys did have a nice green flag run here, and once you get on cold tires once again, it's kind of a wake-up call. Oh yeah, it is loose. And then when you have to go into a braking zone, it can really kind of startle you a little bit, and you have help, there's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do at all. They're all watching the pace truck again pull off down the back-ish front stretch one more time, right along all the campers, heading towards turn number 4. Gonna come back to that start-finish line one more time. Do we stay green? I hope so. Let's go.
I hope so, Pete, but here we go. That 51 gonna start us out, and he gets a nice start. The 47 to the outside. Let's take a look in the midfield. It seems to be where all the chaos happens. Tom Flitcroft, you can see him all joining back from the dog leg here. 2 and 3 wide, and I hear some drivers on that wall, but we're still green. 3 wide, 22 into the 50. He barely misses a wreck right there.
Boy, I am watching this battle between the 27, looks like 12, and the 7 up high. They were 3 wide for just a moment. Now, cross the start stripe one more time. Gonna fan all the way down, all the way up to the wall. And man, these guys are absolutely getting after it. 12 taking no hostages whatsoever, keeping that 25 pinned down. Barely touches the wall. 4 and one more monster machine behind him, going around again.
Like Jeremy Kramer might be involved in this one. Let's take a look. See the 4 car up high, 9 car down low, and yeah, the 9 just gets into the 4 machine, and around they go. Several cars involved once again, trying to miss the caution here. Unfortunately, a few are involved.
Yeah, it looks like the 9 just barely got into the left rear of the number 4. The 09 of Justin Aniscock, nowhere to go, got contact just a little bit. Mike Pop Bear Campbell in that number 71 machine, able to whoa and slow it down. No issues for him whatsoever.
You know, this is just one of those tracks. You're under a braking zone here, and when you get snagged in the rear like that, it just upsets the car so much. You can't push in these cars around corners. You cannot definitely give a bump in a braking zone around a corner. It's just going to get these guys turned around. That's exactly what happened here. We have more horsepower in these cars. So these guys really have to get it woed down. And when you're dealing with different braking points, stuff like this is going to happen. And you've seen that in these corners, and the dog leg, combine those two, we got here what we have tonight.
So, you know, last week at Daytona, we were talking about bumping into corners and doing all that. Draft tracks a little bit more acceptable if the guy in front of you can hold on to that wheel. At a place like this, not so much. These cars are already extremely loose. Like you said, a little bit more horsepower. These bumpers don't line up more. They don't line up more than they ever did in the Cup cars or the Xfinity cars. These things will upset you pretty quick. They're already on the ragged edge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm kind of curious, how's the aggressiveness with these drivers? We got any beef going out on track here between drivers? It's just a tough track, and I can see that it would be a tough one to try to remain calm in. And when you drive, when you're not happy, that's going to escalate things out on track too.
Absolutely. You know, you think about that 09 of Justin Aniscock, who we just saw slightly part of that wreck. I mean, he's all the way back in 22nd from seasons 3 and 4. He was a week in and week out contender. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be again in this season, but I'm sure right now he's in a position he does not want to be in, as most of the problems we've had so far tonight have been right about where he is.
Go on board with P13. That is PJ O'Leary. See what it looks like from his cockpit view here. He's going to be on the inside as we get ready to go back to green. He's got Duncan Fall directly in front of him, Jarrett Cardwell beside him. See how this goes.
Green flag.
Up front, it's Steven Maggio and Michael Wall on the green. Let's go.
Down into the dog leg. You can hear these guys shifting. I've been kind of curious, too, in the long run, will we see some of these drivers shift down into third? Maybe something we'll have to see.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Watching Jurgensmeyer and Michael Walls right now, a little bit of side-by-side. Double O keeps throwing it down low into the corner. In turn one, he washed up just a little bit. Good job by the 47 to kind of move his line just a tad. Down across the start stripe, down that banking, down the front stretch. Yet again, Steven Maggio again looking very, very hooked up.
Yeah, I mean, he is just looking so incredibly strong. And like I've said, we've seen him do this so many times where he has such a great car, so consistent. Man, a car snagged the wall back there hard where he bounced off. I'm not sure if that was Joseph Turley or what, but it was around this area. We'll see if there's any... Man, Joseph Turley diving it way down low. So much so, Pete, I thought he wrecked.
Yeah, it's easy to do. But I tell you what, one car that's making it look very easy, talking about the 5 of Brendan Book. Brendan's right now up to P4. He started third, got kind of relegated back just a little bit, but he's coming around the outside. He just passed the 1 of Jonathan Hernandez, and he was all over the back end of that 47. Right now, maybe just kind of settling in, see how his car is, hopefully in a little bit more of a long run, but Brendan Book looking pretty good.
You know, we were involved with all these cars, and I didn't even notice that we did just, in fact, pass stage 1, so these drivers did get those top 10 points. Our top 10 drivers with 48 around. Can he hang it off of the wall? Is he still going? Man, let's see if we can take a look at him.
It looks like we are staying green. 51 still leading. Jurgensmeyer, Walls, Book, Hernandez, Brody Falliker, Jai Baxter, Andrew Sanford, Duncan Faw, and Luke Allen. Still your top 10. Starting to get a little single filed out, but the 48 looks like he was able to keep it going.
I don't know how he's able to do that, but huge props to him. Unfortunately, back down to 29. We'll see if he can make his way back up. I guarantee he can, but man, so unfortunate to see Steven Maggio still leading, but he's got some company. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer directly behind. Michael Walls in that 47 machine. Brendan Book, as Pete said, P4. Jonathan Hernandez, he's out here in the top 5, so a long, long line for these drivers out here at Phoenix.
Looking at Jai Baxter's information, I believe it's going to make the first Aussie to ever make a shake and bake field in this DeWalt number 54. So big welcome to Jai.
Absolutely. A rookie for SnB, but definitely not for iRacing. It's great to have him here. And like I said, these drivers have to qualify in. As long as there are over 40 drivers, somebody will be going home. So it's great to see these guys be so competitive, and it's great to have them out here.
Looks like we have a battle back for P number 2. 47's been trying to look to the inside of Jurgensmeyer a couple times. Maybe thinking about throwing it into the corner a little bit deeper. But right now, he's been pretty stable in P number 3 down the dog leg. He just cannot get the run that he had a lap or 2 ago.
You're at the point of the run where you got to decide, are you going to want to try to go down in the dog leg, cut it really deep? It's another thing where it could, in fact, affect those tires. You want to save those if you think you're going to get a long run. For passing, we've seen a couple of these drivers go to the outside, so there's a couple of different ways. The 47 gets a little loose as he's coming around that corner. Something that we're going to have to look at, especially when you cut the dog leg. As we said, don't straddle that banking. It will absolutely turn you. But so far, knock on wood, still green.
Yeah, working 20 laps since the last time a lot of these guys were on pit road. Last time they were down was lap 35. Here we are in lap 56. So 21 laps on these tires. Might start to feel just a little different. The new is definitely worn off. This would probably be the point where if these guys are going to start shifting, we'd see it pretty soon. Again, 47 looking a little lower than the double O. A lap or two ago, the double O of Jurgensmeyer did try to look to the inside of Maggio. Just Maggio had a great run off that high side you were talking about earlier.
Michael Walls almost loses it, manages to save it. I don't know if he had a little help behind him, but definitely car got really upset though, and he had to work that wheel to try to keep it underneath him.
I think that 47 is pretty strong. You mentioned a little bit ago that he was loose. Well, he just about lost the spot to Brendan Book. And here comes the one now of Jonathan Hernandez. He was back to P6 when Book got by him. Well, now finds himself in P4. P5 is going to be Book. But how about this? Brody Falliker, last season's champ, back up to P6.
Yeah, he gains one spot. He was P7 to start the race, but he's now in 6th. We're on board with Jonathan Hernandez in that one machine from out there in Texas, and he's out here P4, gained 5 spots tonight. He's always a strong contender. I've raced with him in another series, and man, extremely strong, and I will not be surprised to see him up here in the top 3 rather shortly there, Pete.
No, I would imagine not. I mean, I can't even say most. Everybody in this field is here, and they've all met the credentials needed in order to race in Shake and Bake. So they know what they're doing for the most part behind the wheel. Again, this is the first race that's not restricted play. It's only the second race of the season. Still learning these things, finding out what they're doing, what they're capable of, seeing what that throttle is like with this higher horsepower, what the brake package is like. So there's still a lot to shake down these cars for as we look about maybe 3 wide for P2.
Yeah, these guys are starting to get a little aggressive. Lap 61, we have under 100 to go, but man, still a ton of racing. And we were talking about capability of these drivers. Our leader has 4K I rating, our second is 5K, and the top 5 literally 4 and 5K. It just varies, but man, just a ton of talent out here, a ton in the 3K. So these guys are so competitive, Pete. I really do think we could have a new winner every single week. That one and that 47 going side by side. This is going to be for, looks like 3rd place here. Very, very close between Michael Walls and Jonathan Hernandez. They are back single file once again. I know Jonathan is going to try that move again.
Yeah, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, the one of Hernandez, rather. He was just absolutely wheeling that truck, or that truck, that
We're
car.
used to see him in that truck.
Right, yeah, there you go. Up and off the corners. He was side by side with the 47. He was able to keep it off him, but you absolutely saw him sawing that wheel through the windshield.
Stephen Maggio, I'm impressed. I mean, Phoenix must be his track. He's got almost a second lead over Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and another almost half a second for him and Michael Wall. So a great start for Stephen Maggio, and I'm just curious, if we saw no cautions, what would it be then? But Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, he's got some competition heating up behind him. These drivers are making their way up to his back bumper. Who's it going to be that's going to take over? But then we have Brendan Book, Brody Falliker. These two are battling it out for P5.
Yeah, behind them, Jai Baxter, talked about him a little bit in that number 54 Flex Volt DeWalt car. But how about Duncan Fawn, that 27, up 31 spots as caution number 7 is out.
Yeah, it looks like Matthew Gale was involved. Let's see if we can find out what exactly happened here. You can see him in that 67 pink machine. Oh yeah, he just loses it right there. It's a loose part of the track. You're going around there and you can just lose it. Looks like a couple of drivers just narrowly miss him, but everyone seems to get by just fine.
Yeah, just holding it, did a great job locking it down. Just stayed on the brakes all the way through and didn't try to back it up or pull ahead until he knew he was clear. Good job by him.
Absolutely. Seems to be clean besides, A couple of run-ins at the start, but a couple of self-spins that did not affect anyone. But here we go. Most of these guys going into pit lane to try to take those fresh tires, more fuel, and we'll have another restart.
Yeah, now's the time. I mean, they were all starting to get just a little squirrely. So come on down, grab yourself another set of some Eagle Feel Goods, top it off. Looks like we'll go back racing at about lap 70, 71 of 156. So we'll officially be just about halfway in a few more laps. Not too shabby, Eliza.
Not too shabby. David says you had to jinx it, didn't you? I'm telling you. The booth curse, the jinx, it's definitely a thing. But take a look at these guys. Last time we saw them going out about 4 wide out of pit lane. No different here. We got about 3 wide at certain spots to Steven Maggio. He's still out in the lead. And Day Day, I see you out there. Hope you're doing well. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer second. We got Jonathan Hernandez in third. Michael Walls fourth. Brody Folliker in fifth. Jai Baxter sixth. Brendan Book in 7th, Duncan Fall 8th, Andrew Stanford. We haven't talked a lot about him, but he has been consistently in this top 10 here. And then Luke Allen, he will wind out your top 10.
Yeah, 11th's going to be PJ O'Leary with Justin Anscock right behind him. Row 7 on the restart is going to be Joe Berg with John Honeycutt. Row 8 is going to be Jarrett Cardwell with Forrest Smith. Forrest starting to work his way back on up. Justin Rott, 17th. 18th is going to be Tom Flitcroft. Tom Harmon and Francis Hamilton is going to be row number 10. Lights atop the pace truck are out. Starting to see more and more cars join the back of the pack. We're going to go back racing next time by.
The driver's trying to fix that damage. You can see them trying to make their way back. We'll see if they get here in time, but yeah, nothing has changed with Steven Maggio. Still out front, still Jonathan Jurgensmeyer too is outside. These guys are just so close. I can guarantee Steven Maggio, he wants this to stay green. He had a nice little gap. Now he's got to do it all over again.
Well, if there was anybody that was able to pressure him before that caution came out and before Maggio started to pull away, it was the 00 of Jurgensmeyer. Will this be Jurgensmeyer's best shot to try to get on up there with the 51? 51 hard on the loud pedal. Let's go.
Yeah, we had a little bit of an accordion effect out here in the bottom row. Brendan Book involved, but everyone seems to be fine. A lot of movement going around here. You can see 2 wide all the way through still. I'm wondering if we're going to see 3. I don't want to. I don't want to see it. I want these guys clean and green. See what happens, Pete.
Yeah, I want to see them clean and green. The 147, they are still side by side.
The
47
5
up by the
around.
wall. 5's going around.
Caution.
So far, yep, there's the yellow.
Save a little fuel.
Brendan
Book.
Unfortunate to see 3 drivers with a self-spin. Like I said, you get EOLs for that, and if you have 2 incidents that you cause a caution for a race, that will bring you through a drive-through. So it's definitely something that these guys don't want to have happen. So I don't think they're obviously doing it on purpose. It's just tough out there. Definitely cold tires, loose conditions.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it was that spot I talked about earlier, Eliza. Right in that little dip of the dog leg. And yeah, 5 just wasn't able to hold on to it.
Yeah, a few of these drivers, very, very clean drivers. And when they have a self-spin, they're just kicking themselves for it. It's just tough.
Day out in chat saying, I'm doing good since I don't got to smell Harmon after he puts up an Ewok emoji. Is he saying Tom Harmon smells like an Ewok? I don't know.
It's possible. And I'm sure you don't want to smell Tom Harmon right now. He's sick and he is not feeling good, but he is still out here P19. So definitely want to stay away from the sickness. Poor Tom.
Yeah. But I am glad that he's out here on track. It adds just a great layer of competitiveness to the Shake and Bake ranks. And again, welcoming him back from the admin tower that both him and Brian Pisakemi spent in all last season. And they did a phenomenal job.
They sure did. They did a really great job. It was great having him out there, but it's even better to have him out here on track. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer still blinking out here. Man, tough. Hopefully that internet fixes itself. You love technology, but I'll tell you, Pete, sometimes it can just be a big pain.
I don't know. Maybe you could, queue up AI. Say AI, hit my, fix my internet service. I don't know.
Wouldn't
It
that be
seems like
nice?
that seems to be everybody's answer. But
I
it
know.
seems like once we go back green, Jurgensmeyer's connection gets more stable. It seems like it's mostly been under caution laps where he's done this whole blinking thing. But the 51, he hasn't really had to worry about the double O behind him. It's all been the one in the 47 close to Jurgensmeyer the most. Francis Hamilton is in P18, a little bit further back than he'd like you were saying earlier, right? Let me see. He's down 9 spots, but he was up front and competitive quite a bit earlier. I'm sure he'd love to work his way back on up.
Absolutely. Duncan Fall gained 32 spots tonight.
How about that?
Absolutely insane. So, competitive driver out here. These guys are getting ready to go back to green. Steven Maggio will lead it to green out here with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer to his outside. Micah Walls behind Steven Maggio. See when he goes and how these guys will stack up as we go back.
Yeah, that one is right up the back bumper of that double O. 47 kind of laying off the 51 just a little bit. He would be in the right place as we go back green. 51 keeps it low, cross the start stripe. Everybody down on the dog leg. Back to green flag racing. Let's go.
Somebody hard into the wall in the back of the pack here. Red machine. See if we can find out who it is. 34 slow. We'll find out if we can see that. That's the 81 of Mark Santucci. Doesn't seem to be involved in that, but we are still green. Steven Maggio still leading the field. 47 outside. Looks like he is trying to make a run for it, but the caution is out. John Honeycutt. Like he is involved out here.
I tell you what, I think the 51 really wanted to see this caution because that 47 was all about pressuring him into the corners. 47 actually took him a little bit deeper than the 51 was willing to. Double O was right there with him.
Another self-spin. This time it affects John Honeycutt, and I know he's been involved in a couple of incidents tonight. We'll see how that affects him, but man, oh man. I almost wish, iRacing wouldn't call out these cautions for the single car. That's 3 or 4 cautions caused by an individual car that did not affect it. So that's a bit of a bummer there, Pete.
Yeah, I think the only reason that's happening here at Phoenix, usually if they're down on the apron, out of the racing line whatsoever, the yellow does not fly. I think maybe here at Phoenix because, well, the apron is part of the racing line, I think that might be
Absolutely.
why it's a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's exactly why we're seeing it. 9 cautions here. Definitely a lot of cautions. I don't know how many cautions we had in our one and only Phoenix race before this, but I know it was a lot more, and I hope we don't get a lot more.
Those are things that I voluntarily forget.
Right?
So, sorry.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Justin Anasagak, he is out there in pit lane. Going to give up quite a few spots as the field passes him by. Steven Maggio stays out. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Micah Walls in 3rd. Jonathan Hernandez 4th. Brody Follicker up 2 spots to 5th. Jai Baxter in 6th. Duncan Fall up 32 still, sitting P7. Andrew Sanford 8th. PJ O'Leary 9th, up 18 spots. And Luke Allen, he is going to round out your top 10.
E11 up 23. Forrest Smith trying to make that charge back up towards the front with Joe Berg right there with him. And at 93, Justin Rott and Jarrett Cardwell is row 7 when we go back green. Tom Flickroft, qualified P15. Well, that's right where he is with Francis Hamilton in that Detroit Tigers, number 48. 17th, Tom Harmon with Matt Gale. Matt Oplinger with Dylan Robb to round out the top 20. Lights atop the pace truck should go out this time by. So they do. We go back green next time.
On back to green. These guys are going to line up right on top of each other. I mean, they've been extremely close. And we'll see how they get through the dog leg. Turn 2 exit. It's just going to be a wild one as these drivers hope to get green flag run. It's just those single car incidents, and it is so hard to save it, Pete. Once it turns on you, it is just near impossible.
Yeah, it really is. Ninth caution, working lap 79. So this is officially our halfway point. Let's get ready to go back. 51 of Maggio has led just about the entire race. Jurgensmeyer, Walls, Hernandez, Brody Falliker, they really have been inside the top 5 just about the whole time. Jai Baxter right now, P6, he's up 7 spots. Duncan Fall, definitely the biggest gainer. Andrew Sanford, PJ O'Leary, Luke Allen, green flag. Let's go, Eliza.
They're back. Steven Maggio still leading. Nothing has changed. I mean, he has by far led the most laps, if not all of them, Pete. Absolutely insane. We'll see how the remainder of these drivers get through. We're 2 and 3 wide for quite a bit of drivers. You see Francis Hamilton mid part of your screen. He was in the middle, and it looks like so close. He's got the 12 to his outside, Thomas Harmon to his inside. They are now thinned out to 2 wide and single file. See how they go. The 76 looked a little upset with how he's going over that banking. Still holding on to it.
I tell you what, we got a Charger on the move. Talking about that number 42, last season's champ, Brody Falliker, just went from 6th to 5th, right behind Jonathan Hernandez. And usually when that machine starts to smell clean air, starts to hunt that top spot, it's not long before he's there. I think we'll be seeing him, if he can work his way through traffic here pretty shortly. I think we'll see him battling for the lead. Speaking of the battle for the lead, there it is.
There it is, Steven Maggio. He is still out in the lead, but the 47 is saying, hey, wait, I want some of that clean air out front. Give it to me. We'll see if he can't make the pass. He's going to dive it down way low, probably taking it too wide as they come around from the dog leg. He's got it underneath him. We're going to go 2 wide for the lead.
Yeah, this is the position that the 00 of Jurgensmeyer was in earlier. Just could not make the pass happen. Well, 47, he's going to go ahead and give it a shot as well. But the 51 making use of that second lane up and off the apron. He's able to keep the lead coming across the start stripe yet again.
So many strong races for Steven Maggio. Another strong one tonight. Can he land it in victory lane? He's a full-time driver that will put him into the chase later on this season. This is only race 2, so there's a lot of races left to make it happen, but I know he wants redemption from earlier seasons in which he did not have a good finish. Can tonight be his night?
Oh, I think it's absolutely possible. You know, right now, this is still a short run. These guys were just on pit road, lap 68, working lap 85, less than 20 laps on the tires. We really started to see him pull away in the long run earlier. And as I look back through the field, the top 20 right now all seem like they're single file. Everybody's chasing Maggio.
Perhaps a little contact with the wall. You see Steven Maggio, 47, look down low. Almost some contact between Walls and Maggio. No contact just yet, though. Very, very tight racing, single file, but that 47, he's getting a little itch. He wants to make it out there, and the 00 going to take advantage of him, kind of not taking advantage of that position. He's going to push the 00 up high, almost into the wall.
Yeah, 51 was way down low getting into the corner. I don't think he liked the entry that he took, but it really allowed the 00 of Jurgensmeyer to close up. I think both of them, both him and the 47, had to check up quite a bit. Maggio able to hold on to the lead. Here comes the 42 looking on the 1.
Single file line. This is quite the train that we have here. Now it looks like Jai Baxter is going to be the last car. Then we have a little bit of a gap between. That's going to be Duncan Fall and Andrew Sanford side by side. These drivers, this is going to be for P7. Duncan Fall up 32 spots. Let's see if he can bring it up to this front.
Yeah, behind them, you got PJ O'Leary in that number 25, just wondering which lane's going to move all over the back end of that 27. Decides he's going to go ahead and go high and catch a big run down the banking through the dog leg. Now up high, way up high by the walls, got the 15 of Forrest Smith right behind. And then Luke Allen in that Columbia number 7 up 12 spots for P11.
Too wide for the lead just a second ago, but Steven Maggio was able to hold Michael Walls off another time here. Michael Walls in second, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in third, Brody Folliker up 3 more spots. P4, Jonathan Hernandez rounding out your top 5. Jai Baxter sitting P6, a great race for him. Great to see him in here, a rookie for SnB. We have a couple of them up here in the top 10. Man, extremely close, and I'm hoping we can get a nice green flag run here, but that 47 looked a little loose, Pete.
Yeah, 47 starting to get a little loose. I think he was really pushing it more and more to try to get underneath that 51, but the 51 had the advantage of full clean air, not just wherever the 47 could try to find some, either running high or running low on the 51 on the different parts of the track. 00 of Jurgensmeyer, he's decided to go ahead and fall in. 42 of Brody Falliker, he's right in line as well. No new challenges for any of these positions up front just yet.
Heading into the corner, this is where it can get very, very loose here. You can see Michael Walsh trying to dive it down low, didn't have enough. Coming off the exit though, mid-corner to the end of the exit, that's where it can get very loose. We've seen some drivers have issue with it. Right here, we're also seeing some drivers. I was getting tight when I went around 3 and 4, but some of these drivers still loose.
Yeah, some of them are a little loose, and yeah, that is definitely a spot to get tight. You want to try to give it as much throttle as you can to try to straighten out that corner just a little bit, but that wall will come up and bite the rear end of that car in a hurry if you let it.
Coming up on lap 100, still about 8 to go here. We're coming up the finish line to 94, now 6 to go. 7 to go, I should say. But Steven Maggio still in the lead. We are now 2 wide. This is for 3rd place. It is going to be Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Brody Folliker. You got Folliker on the inside. He's going to have to tuck in behind Jonathan Jurgensmeyer.
Yeah, Brody Falliker very, very good on the long run, just like Maggio. Maggio, so far, though, in this run has not been able to scoot away like he's done in past long runs. 42 getting to the inside of that 00.
Make it interesting once again. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, I mean, he was so incredibly strong last season. Different car this season. We were in Xfinity last season where we had Brody Folliker in that 42. He was champion. Now we're in a whole new car that we have not raced in the 5 seasons or the 4 seasons before this. So this is something new that drivers will have to get used to.
When Hernandez kind of tagged that right side on the wall coming up and off turn number 1, like you mentioned before. They can be very, very tricky to get through there and across the start stripe, but it doesn't look like he lost any kind of momentum. Jai Baxter still sitting in P6. Guy's pretty quick.
He is pretty quick. It's great to see, we have these new drivers coming out, and it's great to see the talent that they have, and get a little surprised. I mean, it's not like you don't think they're going to do bad, but it's like, okay, you're fast. I see you. You can see him taking it easy on that throttle right there as he's coming out the exit. Has to do a little bit of wheeling as he was getting loose. Got to do quite a bit of braking here as we're coming around the corner into the start-finish line. Does a phenomenal job. Going to cut that dog leg as we head into 1 and 2, which for me, that's the loose part here, right here and coming off the exit.
I tell you what, one guy I got to give a big shout out to back in P11 up 23 spots, Forrest Smith. Forrest right there getting very, very loose. He had his self-spin earlier, got that penalty, that EOL that you talked about, and he has worked his way back on through the field. And I tell you, he's running some pretty competitive laps, lap after lap. Last lap, his time was a 27.91. His best is a 26.96. So he's fallen off less than a second since lap 67. So he's got a very good long run car.
Yeah, I'm very curious. The rule states that they will receive an EOL, but it's more than likely in the next race, unless it's caught right there. So I'm kind of curious, admins that are running the race, were they able to say the drivers that was a self-spin and they know for sure that it was a caution? Did they put him in EOL right there, or will they do it in the next race? So that I'm kind of curious about, Pete.
Gotcha. Well, right behind him, you see the number 7 of Luke Allen really pushing, and that 15 very, very loose up and off the corner. You see his hands just sawing on the wheel. 48 of Francis Hamilton, he's also right there with him. A little bit of a back here behind. It looks like Justin Rott up in P10.
Yeah, Luke Allen for Dart and Francis Hamilton for FIWB still going side by side. They have quite a long line behind him, and that's going to be Tom Flitcroft in that 8 machine and the 93 of Joe Berg going side by side now with Tom Flitcroft. So I know the 48 and the 7, they're going to fight for this position. No one is going to give this up.
No, nobody's going to give it up because, I mean, they want to have the one with the clean air on their hood. Right now, where Tom Flitcroft's at, whether he goes low or goes high, he's got somebody in front of him, just like the Double Deuce and several other, the 20 rather, that is a Matt Oppliger right behind him, and then the 5 of Brendan Book, who also looks a little loose as he passes on by the Cactus.
Yeah, I've already seen Brennan be part of one of the self-spins out there. So we'll see how he is able to handle it. He's got Thomas Harmon directly behind him at 18th. We have Zach Deuscher in that 22 machine, not too far behind. He has got Justin Anasigak in 20th, down 18 spots from where he started. Tough happenings earlier on for him, but he's still out here. Brian Pizzakimi in 21st. We saw him involved in an earlier incident. Jarrett Cardwell, 22nd. Matthew Gale, 23rd. John Honeycutt, 24th. And Joseph Turley, 25th.
About back up front, Stephen Maggio talked about that long run speed and how he starts to get away. Well, I guess the 47 and all those attempts that he made to pull to the inside of the 51, it looks like the 51 starting to scoot away just a little bit. Michael Wall's not able to keep the same pace. He's got about a car length back to Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, John Hernandez, and Brody Falliker to round out the top 5. And Jai Baxter still rolling in at P6 position.
On board with our current leader, Stephen Maggio. We're going to take a look. He's cutting the dog leg just a little bit, but he almost had the same amount of lead that he had before the caution came out. It was almost at a second. Now that has backed down a little bit. He does have a lap car directly in front of him. That is going to be, I do believe, Jeremy Kramer in the 4 machine. So we'll see how they maneuver through this. He's going to stay up high, but Stephen Maggio just incredibly strong tonight. Just what a huge run for him. Some bonus points for leading the most laps, and another bonus point for leading a lap.
Yeah, 51 able to get on by the 4-4, as you said, keeps it way up high. And I'm sure he's going to do that for second through the rest of the field. But yeah, Maggio, I tell you what, if he winds up in the, just say the podium, top 3, if not winning this thing, showing how strong he is, I have a feeling he's going to come in and say that he really likes Phoenix.
I would say so. I wonder if it was, a track that he liked before tonight. Because if it wasn't, like you said, he really likes it now. If it ends well, at least. But on board with Brody Falliker, I want to say that he was too wide just a second ago. Jonathan Hernandez directly behind him in that 1 machine, but he is now a single file line once again. But strong run for him, up 3 spots from where he started. Jonathan Hernandez up 4 spots from where he started, sitting P5.
Yeah, Jai Baxter up 7, sitting 6th right now. Again, big welcome to him. Like I mentioned earlier, Andrew Sanford in that 37. Here he is, Eliza, solidly inside the top 10, sitting 7th, up 4 spots. Duncan Fall, though, the biggest mover of the race, up 31 in that number 27 Ford for P8, P9 is going to be PJ O'Leary, and Justin Rott up 6 spots to crack the top 10. Francis Hamilton, P11.
Looks like the battle between Francis Hamilton and Luke Allen has ended. Luke Allen out here in 13th. Matthew Opliger, he is out here in 12th. Joe Berg in 14th. We have Brendan Book down 12 spots from where he started, sitting P15. Ooh, very close there.
Yeah, it was.
And I saw that. Thomas Harmon 16th. Forrest Smith 17th. He's up 17 spots. Tom Flitcroft 18th. Zach Deutscher 19th. And Justin Anasigak, I know he's not happy with the way this race is going, but he is P20th.
Yeah, Justin Anasigak usually up front in that 09. I told him the other day he's got to stop switching car numbers on me. He said his car number from last season was taken before he could get it. I said,
yeah,
no.
It was.
I said, you had the car number. How can you let it go? He said, it was good. Yeah, so anywho, it's good to see him back out and competing here in another season for the Shake and Bake Cup Series. What you got?
The 15 hit the wall pretty hard, and you can see that's going to slow him down a little bit. Very, very loose. He might be in some trouble here. He's going to have to really hold on to that as he is getting a little fishtail happy here.
Yeah, very evil handling car. That's the way it was way back when I mentioned a shout out to him that he had come back from the back if he did in fact get that EOL, which we'll have to clarify after the race. But solid pack back here. Forrest still keeping it way up by the wall, but he's got some faster cars coming up on him, and Scott getting a little loose down on the apron.
He sure was. These guys, the longer this race goes on, the looser they will get. The 4 car into the wall up high. Just all these drivers around in this part of the pack having some issues. I'm kind of curious if people up front are having the same issues. Let's go on board and find out from Steven Maggio, who is still our leader. You can see him really easy on the throttle, almost hanging out by that seam down low, and then back on the hard throttle here coming out of the exit. But he looked pretty stable, Pete.
Yeah, pretty stable. Another car looking pretty stable is a guy that's running Maggio down. Brody Fowler, the last season's champ in that blue at number 42 for Team FIWB. In fact, last lap, the leader's lap time was a 28.25. Brody Fowler was about a 28 flat, so 0.2 faster. That 42 is coming.
Last time these drivers pit, 48 laps ago. Know that their tires are screaming, and I guarantee that they are going to be coming down pit lane soon. I would say this is probably a lot of drivers' final set of tires. I know a lot of them have gone in, but Polish Hammer says, I will forever take the 21 just so nobody else can have it, despite the fact I haven't had a chance to race it yet. Hope you're doing good out there, Polish.
Boy, I tell you, 42 looks like he's trying to keep that machine a little bit closer to the yellow line than the 51 is, just so he's got some kind of clean air on the nose of his Camaro. This time the 51 seals it off just a little bit, and you see the 42 get a little bit tighter. He's going to lose a little bit of ground off the 51. I think Maggio might have seen the line that the 42's been taking, and he's going to dump all that dirty air right back on him again.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a fantastic run trying to make his way up to this lead spot. So Brody Fowler, great job by him. Forrest Smith, still up 11 spots. I'm going to keep my eye on him to see how loose he's getting. But I would imagine I'm just going to shoot out a lap here and say 120. I think we're going to see some guys come on down pit road. I mean, that means we're going to have about 36 laps left. We know they can do it. They've already done like 50.
Oh, 15, absolutely all kinds of slideways coming up and off the corner. Right behind him, Matt Gale in that pink number 67. I'm definitely sure it's a little bit of a pucker moment for him. But again, coming across the start stripe, 36 laps remaining. We'll have to see if anybody decides to come on down pit road for that last set of Eagle Feel Goods. But Eliza, that is, or can that be, that final last dance? You got to get down to pit road speed without speeding. You can't lock them up or get that car too much out of sorts. You want to try to carry max speed all the way to your pit stop, hit your pit board right on as you need to. Hey, caution's out.
Like that.
Justin
Nope.
Rott, it looks like he was one of the drivers involved, goes straight down into pit lane. The 22, Zach Deuscher, missing all sorts of front part of that vehicle out on pit lane. So I think that's going to obviously bring these drivers down pit lane. I don't know if Steven Maggio wanted to hang out longer. I do believe he did, but now's the greatest time to go get those fresh tires.
Oh yeah, and I mean we've seen how good he is on fresh tires. We've seen how good he is on old tires. This will be Brody Falliker's first chance to be close to the front if he's able to stay right with the 51 on and off pit road and keep that amazing track position. I think this could be a great battle that I think we're in for a great battle to close this race out here in less than 30 laps, but just about 32 laps, give or take.
Yeah, I agree. Steven Maggio just been incredibly strong. I guarantee he'll be coming out in the lead from pit lane. I don't want to jinx him. I don't know why I say that, but Michael, I appreciate you. He says, let's go 09 and 71. David, I think you should absolutely try it again. You never know. And you don't have to do, always the officials. Just vary it up. They have hosted races that are fun. You can always join a league. So, yeah, definitely. Philip Bridgman, he is out there. It looks like maybe getting a lap back. We'll see what happens here. Well, it looks like he is in first, so.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if he missed pit road or what happened there, but Philip Bridgman, the last time he was on pit road is lap 77. If he stays out and there he goes. I was going to say, if he stays out on those old tires with the power that these cars have, I don't want to be behind him.
Yeah, I definitely do not want to be behind him, but there he goes down pit lane for Philip Bridgman. Steven Maggio, he is out first. Brody Falliker in second. Micah Walls third. Jonathan Hernandez in fourth. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in fifth. Jai Baxter sixth. Andrew Sanford seventh. Having a great race. I feel like we haven't talked a lot about him, but man, he is strong out here at Phoenix. Matthew Opliger in eighth. PJ O'Leary in ninth, and Joe Berg. He's going to round out your top 10.
Yeah, starting off in P11 rather. Francis Hamilton with Duncan Faw in P number 12, P13. Tom Harmon with Brendan Book in 14th. 15th is going to be Brian Pizzichemi with Tom Flitcroft right there with him. Jarrett Cardwell and Justin Aniscock to restart in row number 8. Micah Allard and Matt Gale right there as well. So Eliza, the pace truck has pulled off. Coming to we're going to go back green on lap 125. So 31 laps to go. Oh, did that caution come right when some wanted it versus some that didn't? Because elbows are up.
Yeah, it's going to shake things up. We know it will not be our last caution of the night, but here we go back to green. Steven Maggio with a great start. The remainder of the field coming on out through the start finish line, through the dog leg. Here we go. Looking good so far.
Yeah, Brody Falliker in that 42. He's on the outside of Jurgensmeyer, trying to carry a little bit of momentum. Tags the right rear of that Chevrolet. Top 3 single file, and then you got the 1 in the 42.
Yeah, some crazy happenings out here. Man, the 09, I thought he was getting loose, but no, he is just diving it way down low. Duncan Fall, he was about 3 wide going through the dog leg earlier on, but he is now single file. But he's got a lot of 2 wide in front of him. Some drivers hitting the wall. Look like Joe Berg maybe snagged the wall pretty hard out there. He might have some right front damage.
Yeah, Joe Berg in that number 93. See the 27 to his inside. Justin Aniscock, as you mentioned, behind those guys. Brendan Book in P11. Big improvement from where he was after that self spin. So whether or not he did get an EOL and had to go to the back or not. About to crack the top 10 again, maybe thinking of taking it 3 wide right there, not able to thread that needle behind the 25 and 48.
Man, these guys are getting super aggressive, and I see you out there, Savage. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Great to see you. But take a look. Steering right to go left. Duncan Fall getting very, very loose out here on these cold tires, trying to warm it up, and he's got a car to his outside, perhaps it looks like. Yeah, he certainly does, Thomas Harmon. But, man, these guys are going for everything. Coming up to lap 130 of 156. This is only going to ramp up the aggression, Pete.
Absolutely. Up front, Steven Maggio still trying to hold off the 47 of Michael Walls. 42 is dropped back to P4. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer still inside the top 5 where he's been all evening long. Back in P5, Jonathan Hernandez. It seems like it's been the same drivers up front all night long, except for the 42. We saw the 5 up there for a little bit. We saw the 15 making up a whole lot of ground. Andrew Sanford now up to P8 in that number 37 and continuing to make noise up 3 spots from where he started. But Matt Oppliger starting to make some noise inside the top 10. He's up 19 spots to P7.
Yeah, how about that? Our biggest mover in the top 10. So great job to him. And our second will be PJ O'Leary, who's moved up 17 spots. But let's hope we can take this green all the way through. We got 26 left to go. Robert Newman is out. You can see him down there. A lot of drivers. Jose Ruiz, he's going to be down at least a lap, sitting 31st. Mark Santucci in 32nd. Philip Bridgman, 33rd. Jeremy Kramer in that 4 machine, 34th. Justin Rott took it down pit lane after that last incident, and I do believe he might be out, along with Zach Deuscher, who is out there in pit lane.
First double wide battle is way back in P14, talking about Justin Anisagak in that 09. And just as, of course, as I say that, he gets on by the caution's out. Forrest Smith's around.
We can find out what happened. We've seen him loose a lot tonight. Bring it up. There we go. Going 3 wide around here, and it's just a loose part of the track. Made some contact. I don't know that he knew he was 3 wide, Pete. He came up pretty far.
Yeah, he might have, we've been talking about how loose his car has been all night. Might have had to, chase it up the track. Just unfortunately made some contact and into the inside wall as well. Front end's pretty damaged on that 15.
I would imagine that's a couple of cautions for him tonight, so he's got to have some damage for sure. You can see him bring it down pit lane into his box there. Jose Ruiz in 31st. Not a great night for a lot of these drivers in the back. Jacob Kerr, he is out. We haven't seen him a while. Josh Taylor, I feel like he has been plagued with bad luck last season and apparently his first race this season. So unfortunate to see for him. We'll see how this ends, though.
Very, very curious call here, Eliza. The 47, he decided to go on down pit road right along with the 42. That's going to put them way back in 20th and 21st for Michael Walls and Brody Falliker, just vacating a top 5 spot with 23 laps to go. Is that a good call, or what are you thinking?
Oh, man. With the amount, tires are huge here. They do wear, but I just don't know if I want to be involved in all the craziness that they're going to be involved in. I mean, that's 21st. That's a long way away. They made it 50 and 55 laps on the last run, but that's a tough call. That is very, very risky. The season has just begun, so there's a lot that can go on in these remaining races. I guess for a couple of them, they thought it was worth it.
I guess it's going to be very, very interesting to see how those two charge their way through the field. Not only are they going to have to contend with some pretty slick tires at first until they build up some air pressure, build up some heat, but they're also going to have these these other cars in front of him that aren't just going to roll over for him. They're not going to say, yeah, I see you coming with new tires, go ahead. It's too late in the race for that. When we go back green, it's going to be 21 to go, give or take. Actually, no, we're going back green this time. So, yeah, it will be 21 laps remaining here at Phoenix, race number 2 in the Shake and Bake iRacing Cup Series.
At this point, all you can hope is that you're not involved in any shenanigans that are going to happen, and they will happen. It's Phoenix. They got the dog leg, and we're coming down to the final part of the race here, but back to green. Steven Maggio with a great start. The 1 and the 00 making contact for second. 3 wide, and we're already back under caution. Let's see if who was involved. Justin Anasagak involved. Mike Papa Bear Campbell. Just so tough.
Yeah, very unfortunate if those two are the ones that got together, teammates. So very, very unfortunate. Looks like a few others decide to go on down pit road, like Matt Sisler also.
42 got snagged. The 71, 42 made some contact with the 71 a little bit. Oh, man. Like Papa Bear Campbell involved in that. Just so unfortunate to see. Just a huge stack up with that start.
Yeah. I mean, you see the 42 able to get away from all that, but very unfortunate. Justin Anskaki does not. We don't see him in the back. So when you're racing around different parts of the community, when you're used to racing up front with Maggio, Jurgensmeyer, O'Leary and Brendan Book and a bunch of others, you've got to kind of learn how to race around that part of the field all over again.
Absolutely. Justin Anasagak out here, out front. Let me take this live seat. Yeah, shows him out front here. So hopefully get his way around the pace car. I don't know that that's going to happen. We'll see. But Steven Maggio will be your leading off of the green here. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer second. Jonathan Hernandez third. Matthew Opliger and fourth. Jai Baxter in fifth. But aggression is heating up. You can see it wasn't even anything aggressive. I mean, just guys trying to get a great start. Maybe a little aggressive on the restart, on the throttle, but nothing too egregious.
Yeah, how about Jai Baxter? First race in Shake and Bake, up 8 spots right now, sitting P number 5. Been just very, very patient in the race, taking positions when they come to him, not really forcing any issues, not putting his car in any kind of dangerous spot, and keeping that thing clean, and gonna possibly come out with a top 5 in his very first race here.
I'd love to see it. We've had a lot of drivers that come out here and in race 1, they either win it or they're in the top 10. So great to see him out here consistent. He's gained 8 spots from where he started. These guys are getting ready to go back to green. Let's take it green all the way home, Pete.
Let's do it. Matt Opliger finds himself in P4 on the outside, up 22 spots. Again, Jai Baxter with him, as well as PJ O'Leary, Steven Maggio, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer about to take the green. John Hernandez in that number 1, been very, very strong this evening as well. They are 2 wide all the way back, wrapped and stacked back up, coming to that Geico restart zone. Let's go racing.
See if we have any accordion effect through the middle part of the field here. You can see him diving it down low, and it's going to get stacked up. The 61 on the back bumper of that 27, and we do have a stack up. The 34 all over the back bumper of Matthew Gale. Let's see if we can find out what's going to go happen in here. The 42 right above Matthew Gale, behind the 13 of Joseph Turley, brakes hard. 42 gets into 13. He's aggressive. He's got places to go. Bolliker, I don't think he's going to make any friends right now. The 13 gets loose, Pete.
Yeah, 27 went hard in the inside wall, but we're going to stay green. He's probably going to have to pit pretty soon. I think I just saw him crab walking down that front stretch. But yeah, that 42, he's on a mission up to P15, right with Tom Quickcroft and Joe Berg.
Ooh, these guys taking it like 4 wide into the corner. 48 is going to be loose. He saves it once again. The 42 going to take it through the middle. This is bonkers.
Absolutely, pulling it to the inside of the 8 of Tom Quickcroft. Really going to wrap that yellow. Tom Quickcroft up high in that Bud number 8. Looks like the 42 is going to have a little bit of a shot off the bottom, but not able to clear them whatsoever. They stay green behind. Next car is going to be the 61 of Micah Allard if he can get up there.
He's got the tires, but does he have the patience? And do we have the green flag laps here to get it done? Brody is up to 12 from around 20th. So he's already gained 8 spots. Micah, you can see him right there in the 61 machine. Can he hold Brody off? He's another fast, aggressive driver. He's not going to just pull over. At least I don't think he will, Pete.
No, I don't think so either. And even if he does get up there to the 61 of Mike Allard, Brian Piscam is right ahead, as it looks like the 5 of Brandon Book is around.
We can find out what happened with that. Brendan Book, another couple of incidents involved with him. The 25 just snags him. I don't know if the 5 came up high or the 25 down low, but they get together and 5 ends up in the wall. Quite a bit of damage for him.
Yeah, 5 Brendan Book. He's been pretty strong this evening. 25, like you said, just kind of clips the rear end and sends him up hard on the outside wall, locks it down, and then he's got the toe.
Yeah, unfortunate to see out here, but Brendan Book going to be in pit lane. Gonna have to bring it around. PJ O'Leary, let's find out where he is. See him on pit lane just yet.
Yeah, it's kind of strange enough. He was able to get it going. It's I'm happy for him. I just really thought with how hard he hit that outside wall with the front, there would be more severe consequences, but he's able to keep on going.
Have some takers for pit lane. Micah Allard. We have Duncan Fall, Jordan McGraw out here in pit lane. Andrew Sanford, Matt Sisler. He's out here on pit lane, so quite a few drivers. Steven Maggio gonna stay out. He's gonna have to defend this. Jonathan Hernandez is now in second. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in third, up 1 spot. Matthew Opliger up 22 spots, sitting P4. And Jai Baxter consistently out here in the top 5.
Yeah, PJ O'Leary up 21 spots right now, P6 in that 2-5. The 68 of Tom Hartman up 17, finally inside the top 10, sitting P7, P8 up 2 spots. Going to be the 78 of Brian Pizzichemi. Brody Falliker down 2 for P9. Same story for the 48, down 2 for P number 10.
Somehow Brody and Francis Hamilton survived that whole last run. That's going to put Brody up past Micah, who went into pit lane. He's got to work on Brian Pizzichemi, Thomas Harmon, PJ O'Leary. We'll see if he can't make his way back in the top 5. 11 laps to go, coming down to 10. It's going to get crazy, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And pretty much from P10 on back, well, P9 on back, all came down pit road on lap 133. So everybody in front of them was down on pit road lap 122. So Pizzichemi, Harmon, Baxter, O'Leary, Opliger, Jurgensmeyer, Hernandez, and our leader are really going to have to hope that they've got enough gap, or especially Maggio, that he's got enough gap between himself and these guys on 10 or 11 lap fresher tires that they don't get right up to him, or at least that the tires equalize before they do.
We saw a little bit of beef between Jonathan Hernandez and Justin Anasagak last week at Daytona. Here we go for Jonathan Hernandez trying to go for that lead. We'll see how this restart goes, but Hernandez, he's going to be aggressive trying to get that win. Steven Maggio is going to have to do a lot to hold him off, but Jonathan Hernandez, he's out just a little bit in front of Steven. He backs it off to make it fair. In iRacing and the rules, getting ready to go back to green as we're in the restart zone. There goes the 51, Jonathan Hernandez. A great restart, and he's already getting some momentum going into that corner.
Absolutely, keeping that 00 pinched all the way down, 51 way down on the yellow line. Still side by side for P number 2. There is strength and there is momentum on that high side. As you see the 1 come around the 00, is he able to clear him? Yes, he is.
He just absolute chaos all throughout the field. I do not know how they held on to it, but yeah, caution coming out. 4 wide at one point, cars hitting walls, hitting each other. Another caution as we have 8 to go. Oh man, tonight is brutal here at Phoenix.
Yeah, I think the people in the stands are going to start to think that cactuses are actually yellow, not green, because it has spent a lot of time under this yellow flag, and another great restart by the 51. I'm not surprised that he hasn't tried to test that outside line, even though it can
Yeah.
be a little strong. But great restart by him, great challenge by Hernandez, and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer still inside the top 3.
Trying to find out exactly what happened to some of these drivers, but it's not cooperating here. This guy's going 3 wide. You can see the 7 machine involved. A lot of drivers involved in that. Matt Burgess crashed on that, so just tough happenings out here.
You know, every now and then I'll bring up the chat for the race, and just as I did, somebody said it seems like we left our brains on pit road. So, you know, we're enjoying this race, and it seems like it's pretty light out there as well. They understand it's a tough car, tough track, but it's been some pretty great racing as well.
We decided to bring back Phoenix this time. Everyone wanted it. I'm kind of curious, do they feel the same after this race? This has been a couple of seasons since we've raced it. 14th caution of the night, around 5 or 6 of those self-spins. This one was definitely not a self-spin, just chaos all throughout the field. You have those bonus points for stage 1 finish. And now we're to the final part of this race. Only 6 to go, coming up on 5 next time around. So this is going to get tough.
Yeah, it is. It's going to get real tough, and this is going to this may be the final restart that Steven Maggio is going to have to defend. I mean, that one has been all over his back bumper in the short run. Jurgensmeyer again been solidly inside the top 3 all night long. The 20 of Matt Oppliger, he's there right along with PJ O'Leary and Jai Baxter. But down the straightaway, we'll have to see what kind of a launch they all get. Again, all racked and stacked back up, 2 wide, all the way to the rear. Here we go, Eliza.
Here we go. Let's hope this is the final time. Coming up to 5 to go. The 1 is on the outside. Steven Maggio going to lead us back to green. Off we go. A nice start for Steven. The 1 car, not a great as start that he did last time. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer right behind, and these guys are fanned out everywhere, Pete.
Yeah, fanned out all the way through, 2 by 2 right now for P2 and P4. Behind them, see a little bit of 3 wide. See that all blue frozen machine on the bottom. Couple cars making some contact with the wall down the straightaway. 51 still leading. The 1's hunting them.
13 around. Does he save it? The 37, just absolutely insane how he just made his way around and missed that. Incredible job by that. Steven Maggio still in the lead. He's going to have to hold him off. We're coming up. 3 to go this time around. We'll see what they can do. 3 wide, the 47 into the wall. That's Micah Walls. The 93 hard into the wall. Just chaos everywhere. I don't even know what these guys are doing, but Duncan Fall spins and just goes right into traffic.
Well, I tell you what, the 20 and the 1 tested that old adage that 8 tires are better than 4. They were hooked up door to door through the last set of turns, but the 51 was able to hold on yet again.
Absolute insanity. There's so much to unpack in that last lap. Duncan Fall, I don't even know what happened to him. Let's see if we can get a replay. I'll have to see if we can even see what happened there. Scroll down, but yeah. Just chaos. Andrew Sanford involved, Joe Berg, Forrest Smith. Chaos everywhere, all throughout the track beat.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great moves inside the top 5, top 10. A lot of movement going around in the back. Everybody wants to gain these positions right on the restarts. They don't want to fall in behind somebody and just maybe be able to outbreak them in one of these corners, or be able to carry a little bit more momentum than them through the dog leg, or something like that. They want to take that spot from them right on the restart. And when we're down in the single digits, there's no more give. It's all take.
Yeah, everyone's taking, and unfortunately, you're gonna get stuff like this. Not a lot of room here at Phoenix, besides the dog leg, and even that, it can be absolutely treacherous. Next week, we're gonna be headed to Auto Club, which is always a fun time, but it can get loose. Then we'll be headed to Vegas in 2 weeks, February 24th, 134 laps there. Another fun track, but in my experience there, it can be extremely loose once again.
Yeah, it really can. I mean, Vegas can be a lot of fun. There's definitely more than one groove. Auto Club, it's pretty much the second groove off the bottom in order to carry momentum, but also carry speed all the way through. Let the car wash up all the way to the outside wall. And, going down the backstretch, usually you see just one long conga line and then several lines coming across the start stripe. But that's going to be a great race, sister track to Michigan. If you're all about that kind of racing like I am, cannot wait for it.
Absolutely. Just had one of the admin write in the admin chat, Phoenix might be banned. It's just one of those tracks, kind of like Martinsville. It's just pure chaos. I don't know why. I mean, it can get a little crazy out here, but we're getting ready to go back to green.
Yeah,
Can we bring it home, Pete?
I think we can. Green, white, checker, 51 again on the lead. This time he's got the 20 right behind him. One is still to his outside. One doesn't get the best restart. Jurgensmeyer all over the back bumper. Back green flag racing, 51 with a phenomenal launch.
And the one was getting a nudge from that double O, and they are 3 wide. That's for third. We do have a car in the wall, just chaos all over. Once again, cars in the wall everywhere. They are trying to keep it green, but Steven Maggio, can we make it up to the final lap? He is your leader coming to the final lap. Can he hold on to it? Hernandez in second, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in third, Brody Folliker, he's going to be in fifth. We're already final lap. There is no going back, Pete. Steven Maggio leads most of this entire lap. He's going to bring it home. He's got to do it.
Yeah, some cars make contact in the back. 47 hard on the inside wall. First, second, third, Maggio, Hernandez, and Jurgensmeyer. A great podium position for that double O. Been there all night long. 42 was not able to make perfect use, I would imagine he'd say, for those new tires. Brings it home about P5, give or take, but a phenomenal, dominant performance by the 51, Steven Maggio.
Yeah, Jonathan Hernandez in second, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in third, but Brody Folliker fell all the way to 23rd from that incident. But we'll try to get some of these drivers in. I know we have Jonathan Hernandez in here. We'll get him up. And we'll get Steven Maggio. I think we're going to have to tag him to get him up here. And then Jurgensmeyer. Try to track him down a little bit. Both these drivers need tags, so I'll go ahead and do that as Steven Maggio celebrates a great victory. Such a strong car out there. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, absolutely burning it down right on the start stripe. He's got to be very, very happy with his performance. Again, I have a feeling he's going to say something pretty positive about this track when we actually are able to pull him on up, or he joins us. But an absolutely phenomenal race for that Aflac Duck. If he did race that machine as a nod to Carl Edwards, he definitely made him proud this evening.
Yeah, what a race. Steven Maggio out there celebrating, but we'll go backwards tonight. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, he's going to be finishing P3 tonight. What a race, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. I know it's been wild. You have been so extremely strong last season and then this season in another car. Take us through your race tonight. It was pretty brutal out there.
Yeah, it was wild, but I mean, some people might have not enjoyed it that much, but I enjoyed driving it. It was really fun up there with Micah and Steven on a race, my two teammates, well, two of my three teammates. But yeah, it was really fun that entire race. Steven was just really dominant, and it was really hard to try and save the rears in this race. I defend from Micah. He was really pushing me. Ended up hurting my tires more than I wanted to, but I mean, it was just trying to stay up there and keep track position all race. And Micah made a call to try and win the race, and I respect that. But he ended up 24th, which isn't great for him. But I mean, third's good. Third's great. It's good momentum coming off of how last season ended. So I'm really excited.
All right. I'm expecting you to be in victory lane this season. If there was a track that would happen in, which one would it be for you?
I'm thinking a road course. I mean, I think I was pretty strong on the road courses last year, but there was just a few guys that were slightly better than me. I'm looking at Bristol. I really like Bristol. It's a lot of the short tracks. I'm not that excited for the 550 races just because I'm not very good when it comes to pack racing. Um, but yeah, those races I think I could end up winning.
Fair enough. Well, great job to round out the podium tonight. I guarantee you'll be another strong competitor every race. You were last season also. Great job to you. And man, wild race out there.
Thank you.
All right, Pete. You want to go ahead and give Stephen Maggio his interview, our winner here tonight?
Absolutely. I got Mr. Maggio, or I'm sorry, Hernandez for sure. Jonathan, it definitely seemed like you were solidly inside the top five all night long. Definitely recognized Jurgensmeyer for the same thing. You were applying a lot of pressure to the back end of that 51 in the closing laps. Talk us through your race, a little bit of strategy, and what you think about the finish.
Yeah, I hate this track. I hope it gets flooded. This is one of my worst tracks on this car. Literally, I despise it, but yeah, no, we had a good race overall. I didn't expect to qualify where I qualified and have the race that I had. I was expecting to get taken out early, but we avoided all the chaos. And I had a great battle right there with the 51 double zero and I think their teammate, the 47, at one point before he ducked down for that late race pit. But yeah, I mean, we had a good solid race, making up points, especially from last week. So we got some stage points, I believe. I have to double check that, and P2. So I can't be too disappointed with it. My hats off to Steven over there because he had one hell of a race. I think he led almost all the laps. If not, he was close. But I mean, I had fun. It was fun tracking them down. We were picking off one by one, but I just lost it on the green white checkered and settled for second.
When you come to a track that you don't either necessarily like or you just don't get that comfortable feel for it, does it make you pay a little bit more attention to it, or does it make you dig a little bit harder, or what has to happen in order for you to come away with this kind of a finish for a track that just isn't normally in your wheelhouse?
Apparently, telling the iRacing gods that you despise it and they'll give you a great finish. So uh, it's just a majority of the race. It was a lot of learning what lines the guys ahead of me were taking and playing around with the brake bias a bit. I had it a little bit too far back, so that first half of the race I was struggling loose, and this last half I think I was just a little more tight towards the end. So I mean, there's some things to take away from it, especially taking it to other short tracks with this package. So it's just learning along as the race goes, and compare this to a track that I do like, and that track I have more preparation. Whereas tracks like these, I'm like I'm ready to get on out of here.
Well, we're getting out of here, and you did a great job. Phenomenal podium finish. Had great speed all night long. We'll see you next week at Auto Club. Eliza Maggio, the man was on rails. He's with you.
Man, that 51 car on a rail all night, like Hernandez said. Pretty sure you led almost every single lap, if not all of it. How did your race go? I know you. If you didn't love this track before, I guarantee you do now.
Yeah, I loved this combo. This was really fun race, and like you guys said, my car really felt great. If I could, I only time I felt even a tiny bit loose was when I was trying to hold off Micah on that one run where he was pressuring me pretty hard. But other than that, my car felt amazing, and I really enjoyed it. And funny thing about the lap sled is I led every single lap except for the one where I stayed out and Micah pit because he led it on pit road because it was a shorter distance.
Oh, geez. Wow. Yeah, you're going to get some nice bonus points for that. But man, were you loose at all? Because so many drivers I saw out there getting loose around the exits, but you look like you did not struggle at any point in this race.
Yeah, the only time I was a little loose was the run where Micah was pressuring me and I was trying to save my tires while holding him off. But other than that, not really, no. I was being in the lead, I was just able to manage my gap, and with some of the cautions we were having, I wasn't really worried about getting out to a bigger lead. So once I got out to about, I don't know, maybe a half second, I was just managing and making sure I saved my tires so that way I could be fast on the long run because it didn't really make sense to get out any bigger than that just to have a caution anyway, and then my tires were worse than if I was saving. So I was saving good, and yeah, car felt really good. It wasn't really loose at all.
Now, knowing the cautions were coming out, were you getting nervous with, the cautions absolutely breaking up the gap that you had on everyone, or were you confident that you could just go out and do it again?
At first, I was worried when Brody and Micah pit because I just wasn't sure how it was going to work out with them catching back up. And then I was really only worried about the cautions for strategy reasons, but it worked out well. And after that, it was just more of a I don't want to get hit on this restart than I don't think I can hold them off because I thought once I got, with a 10th out there and they weren't in bumping range that I would be pretty good. And that was my main goal, was just try to time the restart good enough to where they couldn't hit me.
You were definitely pretty good tonight, bringing home your first victory in SMB. And I know I've said it throughout the broadcast. You have been very, very strong, just unfortunate circumstances. Last season led it to where you did not see a win. But man, tonight you brought it home. A huge congratulations to you. A tough race for a lot of these other drivers, but I know a lot of these top guys, they are happy with Phoenix out here and it finished great. Pete, next week we're at Auto Club, and I think it's going to be a really fun one.
Oh, absolutely. 2 weeks down, I mean, there's so much more racing to go. Two different winners again so far. I cannot wait to see what Auto Club's going to be like. I'm glad to see that the 2 Mile Auto Club is still on its service. Kind of hesitant to see what the new Auto Club is gonna look like in the future, but I'm ready to get there, Eliza.
I'll see you guys next Monday night around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys take it easy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and showing support to these drivers and us. See you next time.